You're watching Bullion Breakdown, and today we are talking about irrational stacker moves. Now, I don't think you would find it hard to find that stackers have made the odd poor decision or irrational decision along the way. But here's a few that we're going to cover today that I think are important to cover and important to call out to the community. And if you have any feedback or if you have anything that I'm not mentioning today, feel free to leave that in a comment. First thing I'd like to cover is FOMO, the fear of missing out. And I think this is probably the easiest one to touch on. But from a fear of missing out standpoint, you know, the markets can go crazy. People without the right level of intelligence when it comes to purchasing precious metals can hear about what's going on and make poor or irrational decisions that cost them long term. Beyond that, oftentimes these types of buyers who have made this mistake end up having to sell at a loss or in a panic. The second thing I'd like to cover is economic uncertainty, and I think that is present across the globe these days with all the things going on in the world. This can really drive like a fevered pitch in the market, and this can create some real irrational purchasing decisions. Prices can spike, they can fluctuate up and down, and that's when some investors get caught up in that trap and ultimately make mistakes in the short term, even the medium and long term. The third thing that can influence a stacker to make an irrational decision would be inflation. And again, we're dealing with that right now, current day. And what's happening there is you see a lot of money moving from one place to another in a financial portfolio. And that can drive some uninformed buyers to make, again, some real irrational buying decisions and ultimately overpay for some metals. Now, there's a few more that I think are worthy of calling out. And one is misinformation. And I see that as being the bad actors in the industry. And you can see a lot of things like the QVCs of the world where they are just well overpricing their products to the market, and uninformed buyers are getting caught up in understanding that these are valuable assets, but not really knowing what they're buying and getting harmed in the process. And the last thing I think I could touch on today would be almost conspiracy theory-like things, like manipulation in the market, government impact and how they're moving the money supply, how debt is working, and how it all drives sort of a crazy, nutty fever pitch in all of the precious metal markets. And then when you look at CBDCs and the invent of digital currencies coming on board, you can see how the conspiracy of all of that can drive a buyer into a market, again, uninformed and then making poor buying decisions. So let's hope that some of the mistakes of people's past don't catch up with them. And as a silver stacker, all I can say is you want to be smart, you want to be informed, and you don't want to make stupid, irrational moves that cost you money, time, and ultimately heartache when you come to the reality that you've made a drastic mistake because you just didn't do the research and didn't understand what you were doing. So if you're going to play the game of predator and prey, I'd rather be the predator than the prey. And that means do your research, guys. And I can certainly help with that. I think the channel Bullion Breakdown is here to support the stacking community. So if you like this content, please check us out. And I think you'd really enjoy some of the things we're doing. But stick with us and stay awesome.